Hey everyone, this is me, the Undead Viking Lance Mikester. I'm here with another board game review, or card game review I should probably say, and this one is going to be Backpacking Through Europe. Backpacking Through Europe is the second game from publisher Travel Buddy Games, and in the spirit of full transparency, Travel Buddy Games is owned and run by Joshua Lobkovich, which I probably just mispronounced your name, Josh. I'm sorry. Josh is a coworker of mine and also a very, very dear friend. But Josh trusts my opinion about games, and I do think this game is really, really, really good. I really, really enjoy my plays of it. So if you think that my love for the game is tainted in any way because of my personal friendship with Josh, then by all means factor that into your feelings about this video. But anyway, Backpacking Through Europe is a game for 2 to 4 people, in which case it is a card game, and you're going to be using these cards to travel through all of these awesome, cool destinations in Europe and trying to have the best possible 3 trips that you possibly can, better than the other people that you're playing with, and whoever has the best trips, i.e. the most points, will win the game. This game can be taught in about 5 minutes. It is super fun, it is super challenging, and it has a lot of great decisions along the way. So let me show you how the game is played, and then we'll come back here and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is Backpacking Through Europe. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what you're seeing here, and then I'm just going to dive in on how to play. The game is very simple as far as a rule set goes. It just, as you play the game, trying to basically maximize your turns and get the most points, that's where the trick is with this one. Alright, so here we have this giant deck of different locations. As you play through the game, each person's going to start with 5 cards, and then as you play through the game, you're going to have 5 of these cards out, and then on people's turns, they can take some of these cards, and they are replaced as soon as they're taken. Up here, we have some challenges. There's a challenge deck right here. It has several cards in it, as you can see, and then you take one. Each card on the reverse side has a country on the other side. So like this is Switzerland right here, and like here's Spain. You take one off the top of the deck, you put it off to the side. That's the only one that's going to be, that's the country that whoever travels through Spain and visits the most locations in Spain is going to earn bonus points at the end of the game. And you can see those bonus points are 5 for the first player and 2 for the second player. In a 2-player game, you only score the top one. And also, interestingly enough, if 2 people tie, nobody gets it. So I think that's kind of cool. Usually like you have games where it's like, oh, let's divide up the points and even it out or whatever. Nope. If people tie, nobody gets anything. And then there's challenge cards here. As you make choices and travel through Europe, you're trying to get these challenges fulfilled as well, because if you can pull that off, you're going to earn some bonus points. And I'll talk a little bit more about the challenge cards in just a little bit. So let's just dive in on actually how to play the game. On your turn, you basically have 2 choices. You can either plan, which means you're going to be taking cards from the tableau here and then replacing them with cards off that deck and then adding them to your hand, or you're going to go on a trip. And then you're just looking at these cards. You can see I have 5 cards. I have 1 Spain card, I have 3 Portugal cards, and I have 1 Austria card. Anyway, so if you go on a trip, you just take 1 card from your, I'll talk more about how it works. You put a card down and that's your turn. And then the next person goes and does what they're doing and so forth until your next turn. And then if you go on a trip, you play another card. Or you can plan. The biggest thing here is that once you go on 3 trips, you're done. You're out of the game, and then your points that you're scored from your trips are going to be that. However, if you manage to get done with your 3 trips before anybody else, each time it comes back to your turn, you're just going to take one of these cards and put it face down in front of you, and notice there's a little 1 point on there. So if you get done before other people, you can continue scoring points if they're continuing trying to finish their 3 trips. A trip is going to consist of 3 to 6 cards. You can't go on some mega giant trip of like 14 cards. So just keep that in mind, that you have to have at least 3 cards, and the maximum is going to be 6. trips. All right, so the way trips work is that when you're starting a new trip, you can put any card you want down, boom, like that, and you place it down. Subsequent places that you go, you'll notice that there are these little transportation icons along the side. And you can see there's a bus, there's a plane, there's a train, there's a car, there's a boat. You have to be able to match one and only one of those types of transportations to the card that you previously played. You can also, if you stay within the same country, so like let's say I started off with like this Portugal card and I placed that down, and then I selected another Portugal card, this one would work, because notice how the only one that matches is going to be this. And that's how I play the cards, like right next to each other, because it's really easy to see if there's more than one that matches. Now, if I were to go to a different country, like let's say I wanted to go to Spain here, and I played another one like so, remember the matches, but I went to a different country, I have to discard one of my other cards in my hand. You just discard it off to the side like so. So that's like the cost of having to travel across a border or what have you. So if you can stay within the same country, you don't have to discard other cards in your hand that you could possibly use later on. The other big trick here is that if you can somehow, when you get to the end of the last card of your trip, if you can match one, and once again, only one symbol to the beginning card that you've had, it's considered to be a round trip. In which case, then you can take a round trip token over here, and then as you claim those are going to be worth more points at the end of the game as well. So, so let's just, for example, I actually, I kind of cheated a little bit and just kind of set up the deck to work really well for me. So if we like say started in Austria here, like so, and like had like you can see, you can see it has a little boat icon. That's gonna be my first spot, and then I'm gonna go. Okay, well then now we're going to go to Cascais. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but there you go. We're going to Portugal. Now I have to discard another card. Well, my plan is that I got these two other Portugal cards. This is going to be a pretty cool trip. So I'm going to discard that one because I was able to play that. Now I have to find one and only one that matches like so. And I can go like this. And then I can go like that. And there, that's my trip. And I can, and that would be my full turn. Now, unfortunately, I didn't make a round trip because nothing on this card matches the first card that I went. But this is a pretty good trip. I'm going to score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like so. Now, here's the thing with the challenges, and I kind of actually, if I manage to go one more, so let's just say I had one more card in my hand. Let's see if any of these work out well. Let's say I had this card, like I had planned, and I'd taken this card as well. Now, notice how if I did this, I can go boom. So I ended up in Switzerland, in Gressbach. And I really love these cards. I love the fact that, I mean, these pictures of the different locations. Oh, I got to replace that. Here, let's put that there. So notice how this works is that I matched up these two things here. And that means that and then I have a ship here that matches that ship there. That means that's a round trip. And now I can take one of these tokens. Woo! I got the extra bonus points. How cool is that? Now, I kind of tried to do that to try to claim this challenge card, but I didn't. Because this challenge card, because it has these two flags in A and B, that means you have to use 5 cards to do it, but you can only travel to 2 different countries. And I unfortunately went to 3, so I wouldn't be able to take that challenge card. And then you'll notice that there are this one has 6 different locations, and then there's these little arrows of A, B, and C. That means that you're only using 3 different types of transportation on your trip. So like you took a car, you took a train, and you took a boat, and then you went to 6 different locations, and then you get 5 bonus points. And then there's like relatively simple ones like this. Just use 3 cards. And if you use 3 cards, then you get to take that, and it's 1 extra point. So some of these are more difficult to succeed in it than others. Now, all that being said, this would be a complete trip. I mean, I would take this and I would put it off to the side to show it is done, and then my next turn I'd have to plan and I had to take different cards to figure out which ones I want in my hand, and then I would continue going on. Again, as I said, Each person gets to go on 3 trips through Europe. Whoever gets the most points doing this, you count up the points that you get from the cards, the different locations that you went to that are down here. If you have any face-up cards, because you finished yours first, you get 1 point for each of those. You count up any of these. If you claimed any challenge cards, and I should mention, if you claim challenge cards, obviously you're going to replace them. So, if you took this one, then you'd move you move that there. So you're always revealing more challenge cards as you go. You get the points for the different challenge cards that you do, and then you end up whatever the country is, the selected one. Whoever went to the most locations in that country, and the second most, if you're playing more than a 2-player game, will get those bonus points. Whoever gets the most points wins the game. This is the type of card game that I love. This is something that I can play with my family in a heartbeat because it is not tough to figure out. The iconography is very simple. What you do in your turn is also very simple. I can teach it to my dad and my mom, and it isn't super confusing, unlike a lot of those other games that I own that are super confusing and they don't understand. But this one's really quick. This is something that I will have at my lake cabin that I'll take on trips. And if I still went into an office and worked every day, this would definitely be something that would be in my lunch pail every day to play while I was having lunch with my buddies. But I'll talk about all that and more in my final thoughts. All right, now normally you see me flip a card box or something that comes down and ooh, it fell from the ceiling like I always do. Anyway, this is what I got the game in. This Magic the Gathering Ultra, or I suppose whatever card game you play, Ultra Pro card case, which is something I wanted to mention. So the entire game that Josh sent me is all these cards, the different challenge cards and the different destination cards, and those cardboard tokens, all in this box, meaning, and this is the whole idea, I think, behind Travel Buddy Games, is that this is a game that you can carry with you everywhere. And I even mentioned that during my gameplay, showing you how the game is played, that this is definitely a game that, it'll be on I have a shelf at my lake cabin. I got a lake cabin. But I mean, I have a shelf at my lake cabin where I have a lot of different games. I mean, there's like some of the classics, that Yahtzee and things like that you can take down and play. But since I'm like the board game nerd in the family, there's a sizable portion of that shelf that is my types of games that I've convinced my family to really enjoy. And I played this with several different members of my family, and they are able to grok it and catch on. They're not really huge into like the hobby game stuff that I am, but there's definitely like a smattering of games that they really enjoy, and this is something that I know I'm going to be able to get them to play. One, because I've got them to play it already, and two, just because they've actually requested it. They thought it was kind of cool and it was fun how the different things matched up, and like I said, it's the game. As far as like the mechanisms of it, they are groundbreaking in any way. I mean, match these little symbols. I mean, and try to get the most points, and like try to like stay within the one country if you can, that sort of thing. I mean, there are good decisions to be had, right? I mean, the whole planning action. I mean, I apologize, I didn't really show you the whole process of that when I was showing you the gameplay, but the planning action is a few things, right? It's a combination of cards that you think are going to match well so you can create a trip, but also taking cards that you're going to be okay with just trashing. So because you have to discard them to move from country to country if you're not going to stay within one location. And it's going to be a very, very rare trip that you're going to be able to pull off where you're always going to be able to stay within one country. I mean, I suppose if you just take 3 cards, you could do that, but you're not going to score a lot of points then, right? I mean, so it's like you want to be able to move from country to country to do a lot of different things. And plus there's going to be different challenges that you're going to have to fulfill that are going to need you to move more rapidly and across different areas of Europe. So each turn is like a lot of games. You're going to be trying to maximize your points with every action that you take, and every time you plan without placing a card down, you are restricting yourself, right? I mean, it's like you're not scoring points, and other people might be scoring points, and more importantly, other people might be scoring points and being done, meaning that while you're sitting there fumbling through, trying to get the right cards together, trying to maximize points, every single turn that person is just getting more and more points as you take turn after turn after turn after turn, and you're just handing them free points, which ultimately, if you keep doing that, obviously you're not going to win, because you just can't match that guaranteed point total that they're going to be getting every single time. So you need to be efficient, but you also need to maximize, which I think is the core of the game. As I said, there's lots of interesting decisions to make. Do I take this maybe slightly suboptimal card, at this juncture, because that means I can complete my trip and I can start my third one. Hopefully I can get that one done before anybody else, that sort of thing. And also, like, trying to decide, it's like, is it worth it more to, focus on this, getting those bonus points at the end, getting the most Spain cards, or just take what is the best, and that's one of those things where until the very end of the game, you probably aren't going to know. Other people are going to be doing their own thing. I suppose if you have some sort of perfect calcular mind or whatever, you can see what everybody's point total is going to be, and you know what yours is or what have you. That mind doesn't work like that. But that's not the point of the game. The point of the game is that this is a small, table presence game that you can play while you're traveling, that you can play while you're at work. You can play, when you need a quick little filler game, because this game doesn't take a long time either. A quick little filler game before you play that big giant game of Twilight Imperium, or when you're got done playing your big giant game of Twilight Imperium and you need something, you still want to hang out with your friends a little bit longer, and you need something to wind down the night, and something where the game isn't really even the focus of the moment. It is the interaction with your friends, the interaction with your family, and it is the purpose of you sitting at the table and having a drink and talking about your day or your movies you've watched or whatever, and that and those are these. And as I get older, I'm enjoying those types of games more and more because I got older kids. I have been married now for nearly 15 years. I've got an extended family that lives very close to me. Any excuse I can get to get people at a table so I can talk to them about their days, talk to them about their lives, and we can enjoy each other's company, I welcome that without being burdened with, okay, did you move slot A into position B? Did you move cube C into that spot D? That's what I'm looking for. So I can really, really maximize the amount of fun that I'm having with the people that I love. So, backpacking through Europe, the game's fantastic. I've rarely have I had this much fun in a box like this small. So, go check it out. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions or comments or what have you, by all means, state those. I'll answer those to the best of my ability. Until next time, just be the best version of you possibly can be. I think that's the best any of us can do at any given moment of any given day. Take care of yourself. All right. Bye-bye.